That's what you're supposed to do in school, right? Say good morning? Or it's almost afternoon, isn't it?
Yes.
So, you guys, would you like me to read a book to you today, or do you want to just talk about my job, or both?
Both.
You guys like me? Yeah, I know I did that. We'll start out with reading a book,
No.
and it's entitled Police, Hurrying, Helping, and Saving. And that's kind of what I do in a nutshell, isn't it? You ever see us working out there?
Yeah.
No. This little girl hasn't.
She was in the library that day.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I can't do the siren too well today, but obviously,
They probably could do a siren.
do you guys know what a siren sounds like?
Yeah.
What's it sound like?
No.
You know?
Sound like a ghost. Maybe they need a little practice.
Well, I can't do one because I have the ambulance, the fire, and the police. It's all a mixture, so it won't sound quite correct. But anyway, you can tell these guys are using their siren today. And the police rush off to start their day. Who knows what jobs will come their way. And I think this is going to be the kind of a rhyming book. So, you adults out there, pay attention. The chief is the head of the whole crew. Apparently that'd be me, right?
Yeah.
He checks on what the others do. I'll have to call the author at some point. Solving crimes, both old and new, detectives look for every clue. Does everybody know what a detective is?
Yeah, I know.
What's a detective? Someone wants to give me. Go ahead. Yeah, they're that too. They're just working on clues to help solve crime. That's what a detective does. Patrolman walking on his beat chases a burglar up the street. Yeah, it looks like candy, doesn't it? Police have dogs that search and find. German shepherds, steady, kind. Anybody seen a German shepherd before? There was a German shepherd that lives with some group here. Do you have a German shepherd? They're a nice dog. Sometimes police bring dogs to school. Dogs must obey. That is the rule. And everybody's seen a dog at school so far or not?
Yeah, I lost a show and
Show and tell? Well, that's a good day to bring them up, isn't it? A policeman's often called a cop. Some cops ride horses. Clip, clip, clop. Police tell cars to stop and go. Tell speeding drivers to go slow. We do a lot of that here, don't we? Don't we, Amanda? Older driver. They give direction, give first aid. They join parades. Lead motorcades. Anybody know what a motorcade is? That's when a motorcycle leads like a procession of vehicles. It's called a motorcade. Police help kids to cross the street. Their gloved hands wave, their whistles tweet. Now, some of you guys have school patrol that help you cross the street, right? They're there helping us because sometimes we don't, or most of the time, we don't have enough people to help out, so that's what they do for us. Police ride bikes. They ride in cars. Their shiny badges glow like stars. Sirens wail. That's your. There you go. Bright lights flash coming through. Motorcycles swerve and vroom. Motorcycles ride fast. Broom, broom, broom. I would have said vroom, 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 but I didn't write the book. In boats that buck and zoom and roar, police patrol along the shore. Has anybody ever seen police in the boats out here in the river?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay, so this book is a really good book. They're pretty accurate. You seen them too? When flames flare high and smoke blows back, police keep people safely back. Any sirens in the group? I have you.
You guys are getting better.
Police work hard to make things right. Who knows what jobs they'll do tonight? And that's one thing about our jobs is we really don't know what we're doing tonight. Our job is different every day we come to work. Did you guys know that? So today I could have a couple, we could do an accident, or we could go help somebody having breathing problems, or tonight we could be chasing a burglar up the street. You just never know what you're gonna find when you come on the beat. And that I should put in the book. That was good. Thank you. On the fly. So let's talk about my job. Does anybody want to start asking questions? And I'll take every question you have, but take turns, okay? I know it's exciting and fun to have people here visiting with you, but we got to make sense of your question too. And I brought along with me Sergeant Joe Stark. He's a sergeant of the police department. He helped me do my job mainly through the other police officers. So if we have things going on at work, I'm going to ask Joe to take care of them for me while I do my daily routines. So, any questions to start?
I want to know what all those things are on your waistband.
Come on out, that's a great question. Do you want me to? Okay, this will be my male model today. It is being filmed and we will put that on YouTube. So, anyway, these are the handcuffs. You can take them out and we'll pass them around. Don't put them on yourself. We might not have a key. Okay, we have keys. Right here is his key set.
That's funny.
Over here he has his ammunition for his gun. Right here he has a taser. And I'm sure
Can't pass that one around.
we can't pass none of this around except for the handcuffs. Those are real nice weight to them too, so don't hit yourself. He's got a flashlight, he's got his radio. On the other side he's got his weapon and then his asp, and that's basically a baton. So take that baton out. So when we're in our jobs and to do our jobs right, sometimes we have to have instruments such as a carpenter does. Like he has hammers. What's that? What else does a carpenter carry? A hammer, saws. How about a doctor? What instruments does he likely to have?
Stethoscope.
Hey, thank you.
Scalpel.
Mom's a doctor.
Bandages.
My mom's a doctor and my dad's a carpenter.
There you
Well,
go.
I'm pretty spot on. I was staring right at you when I said that.
Dad,
So
can
every field you got different tools to help you do your job, and these are a few tools that we use in our everyday jobs. How's that for your
Look how big that is.
answer your question? Now, when everybody's done passing these around, maybe we'll have Sergeant Stark take his taser out and do a round off for you so you know what it looks like. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Which one do you use the most on?
Off at his belt?
Yeah.
Besides, okay, so this is our best weapon right here, is our mouth. If I can go to a call and handle it just by talking to the people, that's actually my very best weapon I use. But on the belt itself, I would say out of all this stuff that he uses the most, would probably be his radio. But beyond that, let's say for incapacitation devices, such as to stop people, that taser is going to be probably second. And that's I want to put it into a platform where you guys can understand. Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, and handcuffs, but they're not a incapacitation device really. There's certain things we can do in our jobs, and to do that, we have to have like a ladder, and we got to try things first before we move up the ladder. And some of them things on his belt are on that ladder, such as that baton you're holding right there. But yeah, we have them for a reason. And he's actually, we could fit more on that belt, but then if we had too much on, we couldn't sit in our cars. Not because we're big, but because there's too much room back here, and it would really bother your back if I put more equipment on our belts.
I was just gonna get it.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Does he wear a bulletproof vest?
He does.
He has one on right now?
Yep.
Do you have one on?
I have one in my car for a slipover. 85% of my job's spent in an office setting. The other half, if we get a call for backup, I'll throw mine over. It says police. They have new ones now where he can wear it outside of his uniform they call that an out carrier. And that's supposed to be more comfortable. But yeah, there's his bulletproof vest.
So he wears it all the time?
Yep. Yep.
Is it nice and cool?
We have ways to keep
Better
them
than they
cool.
used to be.
Yeah.
They're much thinner than they used to be.
How do you keep yourself cool in that all day? So some.
We have, if very hot days, there is equipment too that you can hook up from the air conditioner vents in the car and have a hook to kind of blow the cool air in between your body and the vest, because this holds in a lot of heat. I mean, putting my hand in here now, it's already hot.
Yeah, we could take turns and just hold your hand there and you can feel the heat, so just know that it's hot.
Yes. But that helps in the wintertime too, so that's not good.
Yeah.
But other than that, you just deal with it. Like you said, there is outer carriers now, or outer vests now, so a lot of guys are transitioning to that. When you're in the office, then at that point, you take them off, and so you're just down to your regular shirt. Some of the guys that have been around a long time have a hard time transitioning and changing their ways, and it's all about comfort. You got all this stuff on, and you get used to how you have things set up, and it's hard to change because it takes a long time to get comfortable. You know, when you first get into the career with all this stuff on, and so.
Yeah, so, you know, he's wearing about an additional 30 pounds on his entire body right now for law enforcement. That duty belt can run anywhere from 11 pounds up to 15, maybe possibly 20, depending on how much he has on it. So we gotta run after criminals, we gotta run after people that need help. With all that 30 pounds extra on, we would think that we would be in really tip-top shape. But in our line of work, a majority of our time for patrol is spent in the car. So if you could imagine, if you know, we do walk a beat to get exercise and to make sure our faces are seen in public. But for the majority of the time, those officers are spending their whole day in that car, responding to calls that get out, take care of it, hop back in and go. So to follow up on your vest question, with all that added weight, it does really take its toll on the human body after a course of 14, 15 years.
The lower back hurts. So they're thinking of new ways. They're coming out with things where a lot of this equipment now, they're trying different things where you're carrying it up here, things like that. Hasn't really gotten to our area, and that's kind of one of those things where appearance is part of the job, and that would be up to admin to see if that is something that would be acceptable. I don't think anybody in our area has transitioned to that yet, but
Well, they've asked, and
They've asked.
we might start seeing some of that. So, any questions from you guys about what we do? Does everybody know what law enforcement does? Good.
No.
You don't remember what we do? We do a lot of things actually. We're here for sometimes for the people that. Yeah, we have to do that as part of our job, but that's not all we do. We try to do more good than put people in jail. But by putting people in jail, it actually helps them. I know that kind of sounds like it's mean, but our system's set up to where if I put him in jail, that means he's going to get the help, or she's going to get the help, or whoever's going to get the help they need. If you break the law, you got to go to jail and then see a judge, depending on what you did. We're here if any of you ever need help or want to talk. It just doesn't have to be a crime for us to be around. We're like a stranger's best friend. We handle lost children a lot that can't find their parents from at a park, or if you go to the state fair and you get away from your group, you always want to find law enforcement because they're going to put you back with your parents. So we're here to help you too. But we're also here to respond to calls for service, they call it. So when sometimes adults have bad days, sometimes they'll argue or something, and then we'll get called and we're peace officers. And what they mean by peace officers is we try to keep the peace, so nothing bad happens. So that's technically what our whole job is trying to keep the peace. Any other questions? It's gotta be a lot of them.
Kyle.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm so interested. I know in other parts of the country, police officers have to wear a camera.
Mhm.
Do you guys wear cameras, or are they on your cars, or?
We have video cameras in our squads. That was another administrative decision made recently, that until the state says you have to have them, then we'll conform and get them. But right now, those cameras are extremely expensive. And for a community such as our size, or even the areas we cover, we could probably buy one, but we're gonna wait until they mandate that, and then we're gonna go ahead and have them. And I don't wanna sound too facetious here, and I know you guys don't understand what that means. But sometimes those work in your favor, and sometimes they're there just to pick at what we do for a living too. So I said both, it's a two-sided thing. I think they do more good than not. However, everything's on video these days. You can go to the gas station, you're on video. It's just at what point is enough, and when's our word not enough, So when they mandate it, we'll have them. Good question. Where at? Just out and about driving?
Ow!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, see, we get a lot of them calls too, on boat patrol. They'll call and say their boat broke down and we'll come out and tow them in. Because we have a boat we can use too. Yeah, it's kinda, yeah, and that's what we call a call for service. Every time you see us going to a call, there's a number attached to that. And so that the people that employ us can track what we do for our jobs every day. Or if I get out and walk around and talk to you guys, everybody knows that I don't have to have a number to do that because we're nice people. But whenever you need help, don't hesitate to if you see a police officer, to grab one and tell them what your problems are. What I'd like to do is talk about 911 real quick with you guys. Does everybody know what 911 is? Okay, and you know that's not something that when you plan a phone, you don't dial that number, right? Because you know what's going to happen if you dial that number, and if you don't need us, and we have to come see what's going on at your house. If you do that, you're taken away from somebody that might actually need our help. So your parents might be a little mad if you call 911. But, so try not to, or don't do it unless it's an emergency. If one of your parents tells you to do it, or your parent can't talk, and sees that they're having problems, that's when you would call 911. Yep.
Okay, Jovi is wondering what is specifically on your belt.
Specifically,
Did you already cover that?
we will, but we'll do it again.
Okay, sorry.
Come on out. He's my male model for the day. He has what they call a full duty belt.
Full duty.
Yeah, and I also have a full duty belt ready to be brought up if I'm working shift. But for comfortability and part of my job, I'm a radio and I have my firearm. But full duty belt consists of a firearm. Back here we have a baton, and that's an expandable baton where we can use to help defend ourselves or use it to get into a building or window. Handcuffs, a set of keys so he can get into his car and office. This is an ammo pouch, and on these ammo pouches is rounds of ammunition that go inside of our weapon. And then the taser, of course, flashlight and radio.
What's right before the flashlight?
It's the taser.
Taser. You want a taser?
It's an electronic incapacitation device. So if you get hit by a taser, all your muscles lock up. So you can't run, you'll fall over because you can't function. And that's to stop criminals from harming us or harming you guys. So we're here to protect you and us, but we always gotta think of us too.
Like a superhero weapon, or
Yep. Yeah, and he's gonna actually go ahead and point it in a safe direction, pull the trigger, and show you guys what it sounds like when the taser's deployed. Now, there's no darts in it or nothing like that, so nothing's gonna happen to you guys. You're just gonna hear a loud noise, and you're gonna hear some tick, 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 tick for 5 seconds. And keep your eye up there when he does pull that trigger, because you can see the electricity going from post to post on it. Okay? You're gonna see, take that off. Between these two posts, you're gonna see electricity going in between each other in these posts. Now, if one of these posts was damaged in anything, and he pulled that trigger, electricity wouldn't have nowhere to go, so if he pulled the trigger, it wouldn't work if this post was missing. So, I think this way would be a safe way to pull that trigger and let her fly.
How long does it last if you get
Every time you-
tasered?
Every time you pull the trigger, it's, if you just leave it go, it's 5 seconds. You can end that at any time, so I can make it a 1 second, 2, 3, but if I just pull the trigger and let it go, it's 5-second burst,
And how long is the person incapacitated?
5 seconds.
Oh, really? So that, like that, they can stand up or whatever?
Enough to cuff and get them under control.
They normally are very receptive to what you have to say.
Yeah, afterwards,
All right, here we go. And we have a battery.
I have to change the battery.
Well, it's good that I figured that out now.
The opposite happened.
Actually, sometimes these seats,
And
put a battery in a taser, you gotta seat it correctly, and sometimes they get jarred.
We have a good battery.
Yep, you got battery problems, but you got to see the popping up there? See that? Now, one that has a fresh battery in it, so we check our equipment too when we come to work. And sometimes, for some reason, they do go bad, and we have batteries in our cars, pop right back in there. But this right here is an aimer. See that laser? Wherever I put that laser, my top dart of this taser is going. There's a little plastic piece that you saw us take off. Those are the darts for it. And there's 2 darts. One goes up at an angle, and the other one goes down at a different angle. When we pull that trigger, that's how they go, and that top dart goes to where I'm pointing. So we can reach people up to 15 feet away from us.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the taser. We use that on a fairly consistent basis, but just pulling it out sometimes helps, and it's called the use. And everybody knows what tasers are these days. So. Any other questions? Go ahead.
How do you like know?
Well, when you call, it's the 911. They'll tell you right now. They'll tell you right when you call. This is Waukesha County 911. What's your emergency? And if it's fire, you tell them fire. If someone ain't talking or can't get up, you tell them it's whoever's having a problem. Tell them they're having an issue and you need an ambulance. Or if there's a fire, you tell them fire. But they'll talk you through that. They'll know that you probably have never called there before, so they're going to be asking you guys pretty simple questions to answer. Yeah. Similar to, I used to get tased once a year for a long time, just so I knew, we all get tased, so we know what it does. So when we're doing that to other people, it does cause some discomfort. It'd be like similar to a bee sting, but when the electricity is going through there into your body, the weird part is you can't move any muscles. Your original feeling everybody's would. When you get stung by a bee, you want to run away. And when you get hit by this bee, you can't move. So you sit there and wait until it's done, and when it's done, that's when you can move again. But by that time, you have to have handcuffs, and then you're safe. And we use that on people, not just bad people, but people that are harmed to themselves or others. Let's say they were selling out there at the ball field and they were having some emotional problems and they were going to harm themselves or one of you guys. We would tase them at that point and put handcuffs on them and bring them to the doctor. Question? Yeah, we actually shoot our guns twice a year for qualifications because we got to keep up. If we're not accurate, they won't employ us to be law enforcement officers. So we got to fire our guns a couple times a year, and they call that a qualifier. So they can mistake and say that my license is up to date and qualified, and I can come to work. I've never had to in 16 years fire my sidearm for work. So I've never used it, had to use it at work. I've pulled it out, and you can call that a use, but I've never literally had to pull the trigger or anything like that for a work purpose.
How about your sergeant?
About the same, I think, yeah, I mean, it's had to come out in certain situations where we've had a threat to that degree, but never had to fire.
And does anybody know why we probably would never have to fire? Well, that's the end result technically, but verbalization skills or speaking skills, that's where it comes in real handy for us. So if I have to have my weapon on somebody and they're having one on me, I got to give them explicit instructions, meaning real calm and demeanor. I use a lot of words you don't understand, but you got to be really calm in law enforcement in that situation. And you got to tell people what could happen if they continue their actions. And so far in my career, and I've seen him in his career, where we had SWAT call-outs, that's the special weapons and tactics, you know, the guys with the helmets and machine guns. They come to help to talk people down so we don't have to use our weapons. But it could and it does happen. And you know that coming into this field. We do know that our jobs are very dangerous, and we take that under consideration when we get hired and sign off our career. Yeah, it does happen. Sometimes it's a good result, sometimes not. But in law enforcement, if you're up protecting the general public, that's one of the things that you choose to do when you become a law enforcement officer. You accept that responsibility. Like if your mom says, I want you to cut the lawn or whatever chores you have, you're accepting those responsibilities. Well, in the same token or sense, when I become in law enforcement, I know that I face that possible danger every day I come to work. It's a different feeling, but you do get a little bit used to it. But that's as far as I can really explain it to you. It's kind of different. And I'm trying to focus on the age group.
You're doing fine.
Because we could do the same thing with adults and get a lot of things answered. Go ahead. Yeah. In law enforcement, it's 24 hours, 7 days a week, not just one person, but we work in shifts. So we have night cars, we have day cars, and we got overlapping cars. So we never, holidays, weekends, law enforcement's always present because we never know when someone's going to need us. So I've worked a lot of Christmases, I've worked a lot of Thanksgivings, worked a lot of weekend nights when you guys are up camping or whatever. We're back working and it's just part of the job. No, but I'll tell you, you get personal satisfaction through your career that you're doing your job, and that's what your job is. But I would like to say, and I hope you understand this, maybe the adults in the room will too, I had an idea about 5 years ago that maybe what they should do is, because because we have some, in law enforcement, just like any other group, we have people that sometimes, how do I say it? Some are more productive than others, they're more busy.
Police car.
And let's say if they put us on one of them kind of scales, saying, hey, if you get so X amount of things per week, then you make this pay or whatever. But that's an idea that you'll never see happen. It was just an idea. But yeah, we don't get any extra. We might get a reward for saving a life. We might, I might, at some point in Joe's career, I get to invite him to the Minnesota Police Chiefs Conference and give him an award for saving a life or for saving more than one life through his job. But that's the only reward we'll really get for life-saving events. Any more questions? I can be here as long as you have questions. Does anybody know why we're wearing different colors?
Because the master of the police and
Remember that?
I can argue.
Yeah, you're right, and you know, basically, it's up to each jurisdiction. It's up to each area where you work. Now, me as a chief, I always said if I ever became chief, I'd want to wear the same colors as my officers because we're no different. I just administer the police department, and I also have the same role they do, is I go out and take calls. So I'm no different than the guys. But when you're running administration, sometimes if the guys aren't doing their jobs, I'm the one that has to tell them how to do it differently and how to correct situations. So the city said, so when the public sees me out, they wanted to see me from down the street. That's the old sense of it. So they said, you wear white. And so when I'm in public and people see that white shirt, they know that I'm the chief, and sometimes they're more apt to come talk to me because they know if there's a problem, I can fix it. But that's basically the only reason. I actually wanted to wear the same color to show my people that work with me, not only underneath me, but with me, that I am no different than them. And I'm not. It's just I do wear a different color.
So on the weekends, you wear navy blue, or not, you wear your white,
White all the time.
white all the
You
time.
know, and that's the city's deal. They said, no, we want you wearing white. And you'll see in some other areas where their chiefs wear the same color, like Duluth. I think Duluth's probably one of the ones that I know of. And the sheriff's department, same thing, where the sheriff and chief deputy will wear white. But in some cases, depending on what county you're in, they'll wear the same color because that's the mentality to show you that people you work with, you're not no different than them. However, you are. You're a lot different because you got to administer some things they're not going to be happy about. So that separates that right there. So. Any more questions? We're going to always remember to wear our helmets on our bikes when we ride them, or skateboards, right, or inline skates. Because why should we wear our helmets? Everybody at once.
to be safe.
So you don't hit your noggin, right? Because if you hurt this part of your body, the rest ain't going to work too well. That's so you're protecting your head. So the best thing you can do is protect your head. Why is that?
Because you can't put another one.
Well, that's where your brain's at. And this right here is your computer of your whole body. So you always want to protect that. And that's why you wear a helmet. And I know that everybody does wear a helmet. And we try to catch you when you were out there when you're doing that. But I thought since you guys all came to see me today and took time out of your day to come visit me here and visit Sergeant Stark, that I wanted to give you a little treat for doing that. So what I did is I caught some of you already today that had the helmet on, and the other ones I'm eventually going to catch anyway. So I'm going to give you a Dairy Queen treat. You bring up the Dairy Queen, and you give them this, and you get a free ice cream treat. Okay? So I'm going to try and get everybody one of them today. Also, I have color books in the back. And before I let you guys get going here, I want to show you that book before you go. It's called Be Aware and Be Aware in Your Community. And in here is a workbook that you can color in. and it gives you a lot of extra good ideas, and I'll page through a couple of them. Now, one of these, you can sit down and have your parents look through it with you if you'd like. But they have things in here like know the good guys and learn what some of the bad guys might talk like or look like. They have how to work a telephone. They cover the 911 thing. They want you to know your full address, your name. It's just a really neat color book, and you can color in it too, and it's yours. So everybody can grab one of these when they leave. And I think what we'll do is hand these out the door as you leave, so I know I get everybody. Sound good?
Should we tell Officer Warren, thank you for.
And Sergeant Stark
Yeah,
too.
Sergeant Stark.
Because I'm going to tell you guys something. I didn't know what I was going to do down here today. I wanted to be here for you. So if you guys can think of anything good for next time, if you want to have me revisit and you'd like to come down, maybe I'll bring more than just me and Sergeant Stark, and we'll get some squad cars cleaned up nice and let you guys go in there. Like I know we let you do at other events, but it's the only other thing I could think of to really top off your day. But I'd hate to have you out in the street too much, so maybe if we parked closer to the curb, that could actually happen. Would you guys like to kind of do something like that sometime?
Yeah.
Then we could take pictures of you in the car, and then your parents could put it on Facebook. Sound good? What?
One time I locked my uncle in the back.
Of his car?
Yeah.
Boy, did he chase you around after you got out?
No.
No? Who's your uncle?
John.
Is he in law enforcement? Oh, no? Oh, okay, I thought maybe you locked your own law enforcement family in his car.
It was Officer Randy's car.
Okay. Yeah, I bet you that was fun. But thanks for listening to me read, and I didn't mean to confuse you guys too much, but some of the adults had some pretty perplexing questions. And I can't spell that, so I'll be at the door.